You're listening to Montreal Now with Aaron Rand and Natasha Hall on CJAD 800.
That is James Mennie over at the Montreal Gazette. So, Jim, big confab, of course. They're all here, the Liberals, meeting at the Queen Elizabeth Hotel. Saw them all heading out there this morning. There've already been a flurry of announcements today. Interesting that they picked the car theft one to kind of kick things off. Hadn't heard a lot of Canadians talking about that. I'm not saying it's not a real issue, but I'm just saying. So you heard from Mark Miller on immigration. There have been some other announcements today as well. What do you think of what you heard? And first of all, what do you think what Pierre Poilievre had to say? Did you hear this today, by the way? Did you hear Poilievre?
I'm afraid not. No, but who did he call stupid today?
No. He did.
Incompetent
again for the mayor, but he also raised this. I'll let you hear a little bit about this. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay.
Before I get started, I want to talk about the terrible existential crisis to the entire universe, which, of course, is pizza ovens.
There you go, Jim. Pizza ovens. Pizza ovens, because as you know, the Liberals want to get rid of pizza ovens and bagel shops and all that kind of stuff.
Don't touch my pizza.
Well, listen, this is, it's kind of funny because that's kind of a backhanded, because right now the feds are actually looking into it. This has been a hobby horse of the Plante administration, right? We've seen it. We've done God knows how many stories. We've probably done more stories on the ovens at our famous bagel-toriums than we have about the companies themselves, but I digress. But this is it. I'm very sorry. And you can loathe Pierre Poilievre for any number of reasons. The guy's spot on. This is the kind of thing that people are going to remember. People are going to nod their heads with this. And it's like, do you really not have the time to work on something perhaps a little important? As you say, we just heard Mark Miller saying, yeah, you know what, we're going to cut down on all these foreign student things because we don't have any place to put them. Okay? We're acknowledging finally, we know the boss put out this absolutely out of left field. What were you flying on when you sat down and put your thumbs together to put out the message? Canada's wide open. Come on in. Come. We want everyone to come to Canada. And guess what? They listened, and now we don't have the resources for that. So now we're backing up on this. And I got to tell you, Mark Miller, talk about a soldier. This guy, I think I've never met the guy. I've seen him in interviews. This guy knows how sausages are made. He knows what's going on. And the thing that is that he's the point man here saying, you know what, don't worry about it. Because if, God forbid, the Prime Minister turns around and says this, he would be hit with an avalanche of questions, mostly being, do you not feel you're to blame for this, for that ridiculously stupid tweet you put out like in 2015? Come on, come one, come all. And you've never really rescinded it. Because Pierre Poilievre doesn't have a policy. Neither does Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau's policy was back then was 140 characters long. Everyone come on in. The water's fine. And now we're paying for it now. And what I find fascinating, guys, is that in the latest bad news poll for the Trudeau Liberals, we've seen a rather scary phenomenon. Overall, the Tories under Poilievre are polling 41% nationally compared to, wait for it, 24% for the Trudeau Liberals. But within that 24%, 15 points of that 24% support say they are only supporting the Liberals to block Poilievre and the CPC. They have zero interest in Justin Trudeau or in the Liberals' policies. They are trying to vote, as they say, strategically to stop what seems to be a growing blue wave, pale blue wave in this country, and one that, as far as I'm concerned, was started by Justin Trudeau.
Look, at the end of the day, you kind of wonder any government, maybe it's not fair, Jim, but any government that's been in power as long as these Liberals have, the vote whenever it happens is going to be against, not for the new government, but basically against them. In the case of Pierre Poilievre, what's a lesson in politics, Jim? You've been doing this long enough. We don't have an election anywhere in the
That's right.
Future,
right now.
Yeah.
So much can change in such a short period of time. True. You kind of wonder if he's going to flame and burn out at some point.
Oh, he may, but listen, I understand what you're saying, and I also understand that they're saying for now that the conventional wisdom is there won't be an election until 2025.
Yeah.
And a lot can happen. But thus far, Pierre Poilievre has been doing nothing wrong insofar as his campaign template goes, which is blame Trudeau for everything, and he's getting away with it scot-free. And Trudeau is continuing with the same post, which is, have these weird kind of meetings to discuss the solutions to the problems that my own government created through our just tripping over our own feet and presuming that Canadians, who aren't even really interested so much in stolen cars as they are in whether or not they'll ever be able to buy a house or whether they'll be able to pay their bills. That's their number one priority. But go ahead, make the announcement for the stolen cars, for the summit on stolen cars, guys, because that's how in touch you are, okay? Keep working on that theme. Trudeau is handing Pierre Poilievre the government on a silver platter. I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I don't care if the election's not until 2025, even though I think that may be, how can I put it, that agenda may be curtailed somewhat. All that said, if he's still around, he will be, the only reason Justin Trudeau will be remembered politically in this country is for having inflicted an even bigger defeat on the Liberal Party than the horrible Ignatieff years, the Dion years. That's going to look like Fat City compared to what Trudeau is going to end up doing to the federal Liberal Party.
I think say what you will about Poilievre's caustic character, or however you want to put it into terms. I mean, his personality can be abrasive at times, but he is honing in on what really matters to Canadians. He's taking full advantage of that. Like you said, Trudeau's handing it to him on a silver platter.
Basically, Poilievre is, say what you will. If Justin Trudeau wants to leave the field unoccupied, if Justin Trudeau thinks his own, his charisma, his family name, his ability to fire off pithy, inspiring tweets will be enough to stop this guy, Poilievre is laughing so hard he has to buy a new pair of pants because he is winning this race thanks to Justin Trudeau. I'll be the first to say, Poilievre doesn't have a policy except to blame Trudeau for everything. Yeah. And why does it work? Well, basically, Trudeau seems to be giving him this opening. They don't push back. And quite frankly, as I just said, if this is your priority, this is your big announcement today, stolen cars, get real. And meanwhile, you got poor Mark Miller out there, on the firing line, kind of saying, we kind of goofed with the students, so we're going to reduce that so we can get things under control. Give me a break. These numbers, as far as I'm concerned, are very significant. It's not just that the liberal brand, the federal liberal brand, has been nothing more than a collection of sandbags to stop a conservative flood.
Nicely put.
Okay.
Before we run out of time here, we basically are out of time, but let's touch on what Pierre Fitzgibbons is having to say about the Northvolt legal challenge.
That's what I really intended to get wound up about, but we're out of time, so let me put it to you this way, okay? Pierre Fitzgibbon was not being interviewed on radio this morning. He was talking about this attempt to get an injunction to at least stop the Northvolt battery project because the entire criteria, the process that awarded the land and all this by the Environment Department seems to have been a bit, to say the least, questionable. And what he said today was, I worry about this because, you're going to have investors turning around and saying, well, maybe I don't feel welcome in Quebec. Now, wait for a second. Let that sink in. Did you ever think you'd hear that sentence coming out of the face of a CAC cabinet minister? I'm worried they won't feel welcome in Quebec. You guys invented not feeling welcome in Quebec. But apparently, if the people involved own suits more expensive than yours, it's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think the feds may have weighed in on Northvolt today, too. I thought I saw Francois-Philippe Champagne talking about this, Jim. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, he was more optimistic. He said, no, it just goes to show you can have a difference of opinion and you can, whatever. Listen, they just threw money at it. And don't forget, he can afford to be a little more magnanimous. It wasn't his Environment Department that signed off on this.
Yeah, good point. Jim, thank you. Talk to you tomorrow.
Demain.